coffee good though.
Good, right? Yeah. What's the name called? Made in Barbados. Good coffee made in Barbados.
Yeah.
So you can get good things from Barbados.
All right, when we met this? Oh, this is dark.
Welcome back to another episode of Clicks Over Coffee, guys. As you can see, Raheem did not grow his hair and hit the gym and somehow managed to bleach out. We actually have Sun Rokk here with us for a special episode of Clicks Over Coffee. Raheem is also here in the jump seat. Mm-hmm. He's filling the role that Jody played last week, so we have an expanded cast this week. Today we're discussing something that is near and dear to our hearts, the plight of creatives, the plight of musicians, just the plight of culture in Barbados. Where we see culture as a big thing in Jamaica, we see culture as a big thing in Trinidad, but here in Barbados, while we say we're all about the culture, recent comments made by Orlando Newton for the Rise Barbados show has peeled back the layers on an underbelly of just how accepted our local acts, local cultural practitioners, local creatives in Barbados. And this is not a now conversation. This is a topic that has been around for ages, that has plagued Barbados for ages, and it comes as flashpoints here or there. So to help us dive deeper into this topic, we have Sun Rokk here with us in studio. What's going on?
Yeah, I just hear man. It's good to see you, man, again, me.
Good to see you too.
Cheese.
It's been a while.
Yeah, boy. BCC class of hey, I mean just
pull my head
up high. It's been a while. I remember you was shocked. I used to listen to alternative. Yeah, you were singing the Nickelback song and they started singing. You was listening to alternative. I thought you was just listening to hip hop. And I was like, wow. We had to not judge a book by its cover.
We're the typecast, right?
Here we are. Here we are
talking about, so let me start with this because I think it's something that comes up every year. Local music is always in focus for crop over. Soca is the big thing, crop over rolls around, crop over season rolls around, and from maybe May now down to August, we get a large push of soca music, new soca songs. It's been extended because some Bajan artists do release music for Carnival as well. But really and truly, like from May down to August, you kind of get this infusion of soca, and then it seems as though a lot of artists go silent. And then come back up with soca. So like, what's happening there?
What's happening there is radio, brother. Because if you check a lot of artists, like case in point, you check Ruby Tech. Any artist that is not a soca artist that doesn't want to dabble in the season, literally cannot really release nothing for the next 3 months. Like late April to beginning of August, lick up. And even in between there, you wasn't really getting to play punk radio because it felt like radio felt like Bajan music was not good enough, which is weird, right? And you'll hear Bajan music artists telling you the weirdest stories about them and like radio admins and trying to get their songs in rotation. And even if they do get in rotation, trying to get royalties, trying to recoup, trying to, make a living with your music or whatever. So the idea of everybody loving their culture but us, is there's a fact to that. And there's also a contributing narrative that you got to consider. And that contributing narrative is the other countries you call all over all have over 1 million people. So that's 1 million people to put your stuff to. That's 1 million people to invest in. A quarter of that might be children. So you still got 707 people, which is already 3 Barbadoses. Or 2 Barbadoses, right? Barbados is punch above its weight because we are very good at harnessing the fundamentals of things we are taught. So if a Bajan does graphics, he will do it well. He does music, he will do it well. And he will do it the way he was taught, he will do it right.
Unless you're talking about Toyota Hilux, but that's a different story.
The Toyota Hilux now is...
let me not get you off topic.
It's a good truck. Things happen when you go Hilux. You can get ahead.
Or a Swift, apparently.
Or Swift or Starlet.
No, things that happen when you get Swift in a different way.
They happen very quickly.
Let me tell you. But when we're looking at the idea of the artistry, to a lot of artists, it doesn't make sense because the place is too small. So the first thing they think they have to do is assimilate with the things that are selling in the places that are big. So I have to know, just as we have a lot of sound like, so you have to know sound like Trinis when we're doing soca, or we don't know sound like Americans if we doing rap, but we gonna sound like Americans if we want to do rock music. You gotta sound like, because you ain't got the people here to do it. So now there is a furtherment to the mentality that your country ain't good enough. But when you go to these places, they want to see more of that culture that you have kind of
skewed. You just
dampen
that down.
And like appealing. Subconsciously bastardize it.
Yeah.
In your own mental, right? So we gotta deal with that. So to deal with the issues that surround things that Orlando Newton would have said, you have to deal with Barbados as a people, and you gotta deal with them as not only a people, you gotta deal with them as a people who would be right now running off of the very edges of slavery and oppression and being mentally downtrodden for years. And then coming up as a country who education wasn't too big. If you do any research on the riots, education wasn't that big a thing. If you were smart, you get a little forward, but other than that, being poor was being poor. After 50, you could barely look to dead because they ain't got nothing for you to do. You know what I mean? And that's it. And then you got Minute Clement P saying, hey, you supposed to get a raise in pay. It's 100 years since 1837 he abolished history. So you like, wait, huh? You know what I mean? Now we get rights now. Now we get these things, but certain things still left over.
But you mentioned other artists who basically for the block of crop over, basically like can't release music.
Yeah, hip hoppers, the rappers. Like if
we
you
have
do
like
rap,
alternative music. We have
you hear them?
Not even outside of crop over.
I was gonna bring up that a lot of like soca's the accepted genre, the more popular accepted genre amongst musicians, right? So it's like when they hear a comment from Newton that we're trying to get the best, which kind of infers that most Bajan artists aren't the best, right?
Agreed.
Like, and then and this is considering the artists that are more aligned with soca and crop over and whatnot.
Yes, sir.
Right? So you hear that, but then you go to like the other artists that are good, like Lagoon Wavy, Shai Bascom, or like I think you have Sundown Superhero,
Kite Fighting Traffic,
right? Yeah,
you
got
2 Mile Hill, you got Chantel, you got
a girl that I found the other day.
You got Tian,
Eden.
You got Alex Kids, you got Eden,
right? So it's like you hear a comment like that, right? And then it's like, okay, if these soca artists not even getting the forward, what hope is there for people that do things that aren't normally
which is why you said just now that we end up in a narrative where we have to leave, right? You hear people say all the time, is like, unless you go Barbados, unless you left Barbados, and a man in America say you hard, you ain't hard.
Like Rihanna.
Case in point.
Rihanna,
yes.
Right?
And Rihanna was marketable. When she left here, she wasn't hard.
Yeah,
she was okay. Because if we look at the same time frame, when Rihanna would have left here, Faith Hoyt would have won Teen Talent before that.
Yes.
Faith Hoyt was an amazing talent to me in terms of vocals, right? Then you had people like Hal Linton was here.
Yep.
Wait, what about Cover Drive too?
Cover Drive.
Cover Drive was another, but them was younger. Yeah. But you talking about in this bracket, we talking about the Rihanna thing. Yeah. But Rihanna was marketable in a way that somebody had a little vision and say, yo, nobody really looks like you. And nobody really sounds like you. You have a tone. A voice could be worked on. Because I think Bajans believe that you just drop out your mother and be like, hey, I am a great singer. I just feel like that's happened, right? Them think that's just me. But that's not it. That's not it. You just got trained.
Because even when she was here, and when she first went to the US, Bajans were talking about how she skin potsy.
Yeah, there was she potsy, she can't sing. She gonna fat in a bikini. And Rotley in a bikini. That time, Lil Mal sister about there running about boxy out. Normal, brother, for free. She don't do that. All she's doing is good school, brother. That's it. This chick is running about boxy out at 16. And as a country, there's something, there are two types of culture. There are the culture that you just push and you're proud of and you just market. There's that. And then there's the dark culture. Everybody has a dark culture. Barbados dark culture is we just don't play. We just start you at a double negative. You gotta work up to be garbage in Barbados.
That's a very
it's a fact, brother. Like even when you talk to Bajans, right? If you ask a Bajan, yo, what going on? How you doing? It's your man too bad, no?
Man, just here.
Yeah. Are you all right?
I good.
You know what I mean? Yeah. You don't even hear I good. You hear I'm too bad. I in this. It could be worse. Can't complain. You know what I'm saying? And that we don't understand how much emphasis or impetus is put upon
the negative.
the negative in our culture. So when, case in point, if you ever go to any performance, and it comes out as a live performance, and you hear somebody say, all right, we can do the open mic. You look at your faces, the people like open mic, automatically it starts like, oh boy, hope this man good. And they just sit down like, entertain me.
Yeah.
They don't sit down like, let me see what you got. Let me sit down like, man, tell me. You know, make me laugh.
But look, even at, I remember when Hal performed at Jazz Festival up at Foursquare.
Yeah.
We were there. Hal rocked the place. Bajans?
Sloth clap. And you want to know
something? Did y'all just hear what we
don't get
heard?
to you know what's killed me about Bajans?
And just be enjoying
it. And I tell this to Mallet the other day. I tell this to you, brother, right? Right? I tell Mallet, a Bajan will go to Line Grove from Oystins just because of the prestige that there.
Yeah.
You will hold something in Holders Hill, right? Which in that direction is before you get to Line Grove. Can't get that too far, boy. You understand? Yeah. A Bajan will land in a place, oh man, and I heard I hear Bashment Soca playing in a more affluent setting in Barbados. It was in Hilton or something. And Bashment Soca the playing, and people was like, oh, Bashment Soca is having a good time. You know what I mean? Oh, that's great. That's a wonderful song. Brother, same people. Tim's Point Highway or anything down Spring Garden or anywhere down there, you get this little space in town. Boo, 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 boo. You both down there, dog. It is a part of the culture where if I somewhere I supposed to be around people who are somebody, I treating it different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I ain't screaming for Harlington now because I upset Philip by Foursquare, but they're just still right.
But even right? When Hal performed at Limelight Cafe, Hal had to stop his performance and ask, wait, y'all enjoying this?
Yeah.
Hal was like, wait, hold up.
Because Barbados at that time, especially that time, you talking 2008.
Yeah, so that was 2007.
So that's before the revolution happened. They had a revolution that happened in Barbados where Rihanna doing music that was not soca and getting out of Barbados urged people who love those things to want to come out, and two, got Barbadians into other genres of music. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So now, like once upon, like we had Pounders, great rap group. We had Pounders, we had Triple E, we had Billy Kincaid, we had Duns, we had Levi, we had Ruby Tech, we had H-Town, Banks Killer, all them men. And everybody had a little tight-knit community that would buy your stuff. And it's just, them is your fans. And then, quick so the man started show Hip Hop on TV. They had the Synergy TV. Used to come on from Barbados. And then Billy Kincaid and them had a big hit for weeks on Synergy. So no people was into rap because you put on TV. Not that they're into rap.
But you put on TV.
But you put on TV, so they're into that. So it became very niche. And then when that stopped, that interest seemed to stop. When the Hip Hop Festival stopped, that interest seems to have stopped. Although the Hip Hop Festival, I guess that's my camera, devolved into garbage. I say, Vex, put on record. Anyhow, so...
I feel like she got air horn for that.
yeah, because the thing turned into the only people who was at the Hip Hop Festival were people who wanted to perform at the Hip Hop Festival. The men stopped marketing it. It's turned it into, it was not Hip Hop Festival anymore. It was a huge concert. It was like the middle passage of rappers. Yeah. But anyway, when we go back to the case, is that all of this can happen because the mindset that you have towards how you push your people and how you push your culture is one of inferiority and not one of, I need my people to be great. I know come back from Jamaica, brother. Jamaica's so confident in itself. A Rasta man picked me up from the hotel in fluorescent green Nike running shoes, electric blue diamond design socks, a football pants, a burgundy football pants, a brown tracksuit jacket, a black and yellow woolly hat with the long tassels that we got from when skiing, and a pair of shades with a white thing on it. My man was called UT Ross, brother. Dark, like my man here. Hear what I tell you? And my man got this thing looking like a glow stick that fight with a Snickers, brother. or saying, you know what I mean? My man look high visual. You can't let down you T-Ross, brother. But when they ask him, I say, yo, you come to carry me to Mikey? Man say, yeah, bro. I mean, you T-Ross. Getting out of the car there. And then my man is in a football pants, brother. Plays for no one. Socks up to the knee. Blue electric blue socks up to the... It's all a dark person, you know, brother. My man is bright. Oh, yeah?
My turn be saturation.
You said, oh.
My man dressed himself after looking at the prism and said, however the light back down was how he getting up to the air. Ping! All right.
Pure RGB colors.
So, like... Yeah, my man look like you could adjust the contrast of his clothes on your TV. You know what I mean?
He's high def.
So, like... But that's a confidence in the people. And one of the things Jamaicans can tell you is he without confidence, as Marcus Garvey quote, you know, he without confidence is twice defeated. Right? So you can hear it in the music too. Yeah. Jamaicans just come from the music and sing. Listen, I would let you know that Sizzler could have never walked in a production studio in Barbados. And reason, where did you go? Don't you need my love? You would never get that. I'm gonna say, you we doing? You wanna sing a boy? Call some boy do that for you, yeah? But Jamaicans tell me when they got there, they had an issue singing because them men don't want me singing. I'm a singer as a rapper. The men don't want me singing. We had a long conversation. It was a big crawl. Anyway, Jamaicans look at me and said, you know what? In Jamaica, you just a lock off your eye and sing the thing. I said, me lock off my eye and sing the thing, man. Just lock off your eye and sing. Wherever you vibe with, wherever you do, sing it because you are never wrong. In Barbados, you are never right. So do the thing right so that we could get through here. But in Jamaica, you never wrong.
So that leads me to, I guess you started to touch on it, but what do they have? What does Trinidad have?
Trinidad and Jamaica have culture and prestige. Because there was one point in the Caribbean where Trinidad's voice was the voice that everybody wanted to hear in the Caribbean. When Trinidad, everybody had calypso and soca. Jamaica had calypso and soca, then they turned it down to San Mento turned into ska turned into rock steady turned into reggae turned into dancehall turned into trap that we got now. Right? Constant evolutions of their music and constant acceptance of it. Their culture had things in the structure that made it easier for people to bust or for people to get popular. Men used to, once upon a time, it don't happen now, too much violence and also the things change. But men used to have big sound systems. You know, you used to hear about Stone Love and you would hear about Rockers International. You hear these men would take big speakers and come out into the neighborhood like on a Friday and play the rhythm. So how the rhythm start is that the men didn't want to be pressing the new record for everybody that had a song. So the men would make one rhythm, press it on inside the record. You like that, you would get the record. Let me say I would like the song. I like the rhythm that Israel singing fun. I would get that record, I would take it home, I would flip it to the other side, I would play the Virgin. The Virgin side is the side that's just the instrumental. And I would write, I put my song to that. So when you make out next Friday, you know, dang, them is things that we doing. But you understand that these are things that coming out and like musically, the men right, you know. You can't, like, you know, you ain't gonna be able to go to like Janice Militant and be like, bing, 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 many, why? She gonna wanna look at you like you mad. You singing. But in Jamaica, you had a man here, Eek, a mouse. The man's name was Eek. E-E-K, exclamation mark, a mouse. And this man was about 6'3". The man said, me and name Eek a mouse, the tallest mouse in the house. If I ever see a mouse at 6'3", he lives there, brother. That is his house. He's taking it. The confidence in them. Trinidad too. The confidence in Trinidad to know like calypso is we thing. You got men like Sparrow, Kitchener, real storytellers, real lyricists, real masters of the thing, Pretender, you know, Chalk Dust, big men, you know, and them men would have given you the Marshalls and you know, Kesses, the voices
and the Patrice
and
Roberts
whatever, but they also turned very much so into themselves, more so after what Barbados did in the 90s.
Yeah.
So the men would talk about saying called Bajan invasion. You want to know why it was dubbed the Bajan invasion? It was dubbed the Bajan invasion because Trini Media saw it and said, you know what? Too much Bajans getting too much work. about here. I feel like
Because
every
song was the biggest song at Carnival that year.
Marshall says
Like,
on
Pump Me Up.
record he was frightened to go after Edwin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have bands like
And Marshall's homegrown, like
and
from
Marshall
a
is
child up.
For them, they want me to sort like he had songs like that. Little man, I was here for a little man. That man was frightened to go after Skinny Edwin, brother. And I let you know they got 2 Edwins. Skinny Edwin was fire. This Edwin, no, we got still fire, very much so tempered, very mature. Skinny Edwin laying up on stages and walking up on them and thing. In your place, brother. With half a head of one side.
Yeah, one side
blonde, and one side bleach out brown and one side thing. You know, and Skinny Edwin also went Picky Crop and sing a song that was a party song. Obadeli. Obadeli dancer. You know what I mean? Awesome song. First place song. Oba get third. Still, we here. So that day is a different thing, knowing that you originate something, and as the originators of it, they started to police their thing. So then you could come to Trinidad and perform, brother. If you want, for promoter want bring you, you could. You ain't headlining the show in Trinidad ever again. There will never be another show in Trinidad where it's like, oh, Crossfire headlining.
Yeah.
Big fat. You feel like that man got good fire fat, or good bungee fat, or Marshall Munders, and the headliner for Marshall Munders is Edwin. Can't happen. Can't be Edwin. Can't be Mikey. They could come. Good guess. We let you music action, but we pushing. We think. We look at them main cards. Trinidad. Yes, Jamaica, Jess, Grenada. Yes, St. Lucia, of course, no Dennery or whatever. Yes, everybody that got a contribution. Yes. Big ups. But you are not Trinidadian.
But if we look at Rise Barbados, in the name is Barbados.
Them Trinidadian.
And you have Patrice Roberts,
Raising Trinidad?
Kesty Band, Rise Barbados.
Dying Trinidadian?
No. You know football is not Trinidadian too?
So
The headliner.
roster look Trinidadian to me.
The roster looks like everybody
I
else
seen-
but Barbados.
Like, look at the headline. Look, the headline is Cass and Patrice. Patrice, no, yeah?
Patrice was just here for the
She
all
got an all-woman show.
yes, for the all-women show. Kesty Band is
And Cass always here. I
mean-
feel like every show's got Cass on it.
Don't get me wrong, I love Kess's music.
I too.
Love
You know
it.
what I also like?
Bajan music.
Bajan music.
Correct.
So my thing is like when they saw this, like, we talking about this roster, we can get it. When they saw this, I tell myself, this is showing me so much things that wrong with not only Bajan people, but the infrastructure, the cultural landscape in terms of the industry in Barbados.
Because right, this is Rise Barbados. Like
Rise
you're
Barbados and everybody there
Bajan
except
colors,
Bajans, brother.
and 2 Bajans.
You know that's like you go Kentucky Fried Chicken
oh my God, it's
and you could only get drumsticks, brother.
oh my God, it's fish.
You know what I mean? You could get a drumstick, but it's not actual chicken. You get a soy drumstick, like one of them Beyond Meats. You get one of them drumsticks, and then everything else is like fish and goat and rabbit and things. It's like, but I thought it was Kentucky Fried Chicken. We inclusive. Like your sister. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel.
You were saying?
I was saying like when I was checking out the roster, I was hearing somebody like this Black Adan, Skinny Fabulous, Full Blown, and I don't know if I don't think Marshall's a part of this, but like I think Black Adan is Grenadian or something like that. I have something like that, right?
The main friend here.
Yeah,
the main friend here. It's only Allison and Tion, brother.
Only Allison and Tion.
right? And I mean, I'm not heavy on the soca. I don't listen to soca that much, but I do know Skinny Fabulous. But I know full well Skinny Fabulous isn't from Barbados. So
But he did grow up here for a little bit.
Yeah, right. So I don't want to create this idea that
I created it.
I don't want to create this idea that I am against other artists coming here or like this.
Agreed.
No. I never said like I would never tell you. I would never tell you that I would support that either.
I don't agree. I know that's not what you're saying. I'm saying I could see that narrative being spun out of this.
Yeah.
My thinking is like if you're gonna say we don't have a lot of Bajan artists because we're looking for the best, right? What metric are you using to judge these overseas artists versus what was
I want us to play the clip.
If you look at the artists, like,
I want us to actually play this clip.
Oh, this clip? Or
yeah.
And you have to perform on it. You have to be able to the reason why we may not have an entourage of local artists is because we try to get the best, because we're looking at a stage that's a 40-foot stage, 40 by 40 most times, and you have to perform on it. you have to be able to perform on it. That's the reason that we added Lady Lava, Bob the Builder. You understand? Which seemed to be a cult song, which I learned a lot about over the last 2 weeks.
Positive. You put somebody on the roster that you didn't even know about,
That you only learned
and
about
you the
in
reason
last
you
2
only
weeks.
wanted the best,
Yeah.
brother. You heard about the last 2 weeks, though? How long Chihuahua doing music? Lil Rick doing music with what?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Lil Rick doing music with what? Must be from the 80s. Let me call it from the 80s,
Yeah.
right? With the
Because I remember primary
Rebel
school.
Revolution.
coming here.
Yeah. Can't stand wholesale. Right. So no, Lil Rick do a lot for the culture. Lil Rick met a lot of men, change how this do soca too. Edwin is doing music for how long?
I know, right? Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then, let me just say, maybe they don't art because no, I don't know if you went to the last tipsy, but at last tipsy you start to see that the listenership in Barbados is shifting.
Mm-hmm.
Right? People still love Edwin. It's not the same way. You take a little bit to get into the performance. As before when Edwin comes on stage, everybody because Edwin. The youngsters is like, oh, I ain't really know this song.
Mm-hmm.
I know this. That's how Tipsy was, because Tipsy's a lot of youngsters, right?
Yeah.
But then when Chief Ding come on, everybody keeping noise. You know what I mean? When the youngster come on singing Waistline. Shaquan, Shaquille. I don't know. But yeah, my apology if I burned your name,
Quan?
brother. Quan. That do
Right.
Waistline. Right, yeah, because there's two of them. There's Quan and Quan the artist.
Okay.
So I can both want to read once again. Sorry. But when the men come on, people I love those songs, and then was two of the biggest songs. You know, like Pike and Sadis come on singing Brain Freeze. You did. You got tunes. You got people. So if we talking about, and all these men was here a year ago, all these men was here 2 years ago. Like Pike and Sadis arguably saved Crop Over in 2014. When then bring out Condense and Bennett.
Yeah.
Right? You talking about the best. You talking about performing on a 40 foot. Lead Pike and Sadis is
I
treat
didn't
every
even realize that
stage.
they were around that long.
I didn't
Lead Pike and Sadis is treat every stage like a 40-foot stage. You can I watched them men perform at a staff function for the Central Bank.
Yeah.
Right? And them men putting stage up and down, brother. So it can't be that Bajans can't work the stage. It can't be that you want the best. If you want to say we wanted a more international show, right? I could tell you, yes, but even then, you have literally artists that have toured the world from BIM to China to back.
Yeah.
So you can't tell me you got a good reason.
And at every caliber and stage in the industry too, because we have people from
Yeah.
Red Plastic Bag all the way
All the
down
way.
to the same Tiana Hernandez. We
Oh,
have
yeah.
people at different levels.
There is-
I was gonna ask how come if Led Play Sadis ever performed at this Rise concert, because I'm like it'd be one thing if you said that they did a performance.
Maybe they have. But my issue is Rise last year and Rise this year is two different shows. Because it's Rise this year.
Mhm.
Right? My issue is that Rise happens July the 30th, which is basically at the end of the season.
We're in the height of the season now,
Right.
focusing on
Which
our
is basically
culture.
around the same space where Cahabla Pot would be.
Yeah. Yes.
Or would have been.
Same
And we
weekend, yeah.
get rid of Cahabla Pot because it was known to be an expense. I think the NCF was spending on. I think a lot of times, if not solely with help, but then the show was big. Whatever. Cool. You decide to privatize the shows, which is fine. My issue is the same way that Jamaica has a law, and a lot of people don't know this. The reason that you could hear a lot of pop songs from the 70s and 60s in Jamaica as reggae songs, like John Holt's I understand why the old preacher man says along. It's because there was a law eventually where, well, not only a law, but it was also a very prevailing mindset that if this music is going to come into Jamaica, Jamaicans have to sing it.
Mm-hmm.
They're not giving their royalties out to men in America and people overseas solely and wholly and solely, right? So World, West Indies record label, will get the songs from overseas, bring them, tell people, hey, I got a pop song here that I think you would like, bring it from the States, and what you can listen to it, we can do a reggae beat and we can sing it over. And that's how a lot of them big songs that we know that are, when you listen to like Sammy Davis Jr. had Mr. Bojangles. The Mr. Bojangles I know It's from John Holt. I knew a man, his name was Bojangles, and he danced for me in blue suede shoes. But when you listen to the original Bojangles,
Man
it
says he
sounds slow.
can't sing.
Yeah, I was saying he's a rapper, but
And
Man
it's
says
slow.
he can't sing.
Hey, hello. Back to the thing.
Sorry,
So
yeah.
my thing is, how, if it is that Jamaica's size dwarfs us, how were we running the Caribbean sonically for a couple of years in the 90s? If it is that Trinidad is the innovator, how did most of the big songs from Trinidad end up being produced in Barbados in that same 90s space? Coalition had a lot of people running. That was Rupee, Adrian Clark, and them.
Yeah.
That band was amazing.
Yep.
Crossfire, lick up things. Square One,
Yeah.
mash up things. I used to just look at my TV for Alice and Hines. Call let me tell you. I was like, yo, hurt me, boy. so like, you got all these things. It's not that you don't have quality in your crowd, Poobie. It's just that you don't believe in it. You know what I'm saying? It's the reason why water does cost $20 in Sign Lane and $2 at the shop across the road. It's the environment you put in. More value is accredited to a more valued environment, which is why we want tech artists and go outside. I can tell you a story about Bajan dark culture of not believing in your product. I was called 2023 October. It was called by the NCF. They said, "Hey, we're going to Egypt. We're doing a trade fair over there. You have done a project for us. There's a song you did called Come From." I said, "Yes. We will let you perform it." I said, "Well, I don't want to release Come From in November. I didn't want to perform it yet." They said, "Anyway, we want you to perform Come From. We want Carry Point Trip." I said, "All right, cool. I go on Egypt." I am in Egypt. No, before we get to Egypt, we went to the rehearsal. I go into the rehearsal, I see Risa Garns, amazing singer. Shadia Marshall, good Lord. That girl hard. Kashida Dottin, you know what I'm saying? Not a big one. Why am I here? Right? So I said, all right, cool. Do you think Darian Bailey was the music director? We going at Rose. Romero Graves, Darian Bailey, beer talent going up. In my mind, I was like, why? And this is why I had to give my hat to the NCF on this one for sure. Because I was like, normally when you hear about these sort of trips, there's a Alice and Hines here, there's a Mikey here. But all of these is what Bajans would have called the underground artists or the B-list or C-tier artists, right? So anyhow, we go on. Kashida come on. Sorry, Risa went first. Mash up the place.
Kashida had just won.
Not too long BSU World. She went BSU World, but I was in it, which is 2021.
Okay, right.
Right? Risa comes.
They did you dirty on that show, by the way.
It's part of life, man. It's happening, man.
quality
Listen,
was
I just knew that from the time we see all the singers is up front, I was like, listen, if I get sand, I get sand. If I don't get sand, I was telling this because Ruby Tech tells to me too. Ruby Tech was like, wherever you go, when they pass finals, he's like, listen, whatever you do from here now is a first for hip hop in Barbados because shows like this, we don't get in the way. I remember Did You Sell Rising Stars had some men trying to rap? Dead. Right? Man, they deal with that. So I was glad that I could have represent the culture and especially the estranged genre, which is rap music, like that at an event like that, because it was strange to perform to no one. So, but Kashida did really well, won. But when she went to Egypt, brother, Kashida had people from Congo standing up just applauding. The place, they had a dry eye about there. You know what I mean? I didn't believe when she had saying if I could change the world. I was like, just change it, man. Just have a world. Just get that woman a world to change there.
Do we have one for her to change?
Yeah. Like, there's a globe.
Find one.
I just gave you an earth. Just break it down into 5 Chinas. Let me get on your road, brother. You know what I'm saying? So that was one day. So then man was like, Rock God, do you think no? So he's gonna perform Come From. These people have never heard my song. Ever. But because of Mike Check, I could perform the slugs, right? So you go on, I don't do Come From. I start Come From in the middle of the song. And I freestyle about people in room and thing. Sorry, room going mad. King mad. Going mad. I talk about, I say man, like Egyptian men, Arab men, don't, baby! You get too active. I feel like it's starting to feel jittery here. But these men had a good time, right? And I've never done that song before. And the way the men get the reaction, people come to me like from Nigeria and thing like, it's a real good song. People from Congo, that's a real good song. yo, I like that. You got a record, you got your album out. And I was like, nah, I got my album out. Because the reason I didn't do my album, we talked dark culture again.
Mm-hmm.
I still believe, I am an all right MC, right? As a rapper. But I'm also very weird. So the kind of music I want to do, I wasn't sure they had a place for in the listenership. So I never did my album. If Mikey would say he must tell you the same thing, I would get a headlock or saying, because Mikey was telling me for years from BCC, he's like, yo, come and do soca. Write a song for me. Thing, whatever. And a lot of times I was going to write a song for Mikey and get how I feel like, this song's garbage. And I just don't ever send it. You know what I mean? Like, every year he still come, I wait him by it. Write the song. So when I went to Egypt and I did our performance and I saw people got on, I was like, oh? Like people was literally freaking out. And I was there like, cool. So it's not that we don't have people that are good enough. We just don't believe in them. And then in turn, them is don't believe in themselves. At the same time, we also have people that just jump in the festival just to make quick money. And they don't try to invest in the artistry. They don't try to make the thing good. And a lot of times, them is the people that disappear at the things that are the most visible.
Like dropping a woman when you're trying to lift she up.
Yeah, that one.
That was an advertisement for oats. Like, I feel like... I feel that I should start, don't let this be you.
You need some milk.
Use Imogen granola right now. You know what I mean? You ever went to a fat see a girl you want to lift up? And then you lift she up? And then you like to start the shit? Yeah, you want oats. For all them men that want feeding. Oats. For the inner horse in you. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, but we don't believe it. We don't believe in the artistry. We don't believe in the singers. We don't believe, and it's we could tell how we believe, and we don't respect them neither.
I think as Bajans, we don't believe in us. We don't believe in our
At all.
creativity. We don't believe in our ability to ideate and generate, because we train excellent human resources in Barbados. So we will send people to school to be lawyers, managers, supervisors,
And they all end up overseas.
administrators, etc.
Not all, but
not
like,
all, because we have a lot of people who are here working in the bank,
Yeah,
working
doing
in
good work
offices,
still.
and they do. But I get you.
like a lot of, if they don't fall into the same, like the typical jobs like lawyer, accountant, or like the jobs that they always have a job for down
Management,
here, right? Things like that, right?
Admin.
If it don't got fit here, they always start ending up going
matriculate.
overseas. It's just serious brain drain. Like,
Brother, I
even
have
in
seen.
the same music industry, not to cut you, but
No,
in the
you're
same
cutting me.
music industry, I have a friend, Isabella Burnham, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Izzy! Big ups, girl. I went England. Izzy, sorry.
Yeah.
Big ups, though. I like you. He's my favorite white person. wait, second favorite. Don't kill me, Elaine. Second favorite.
Right? But Isabella, wonderful musician, right? Very,
Yeah.
very talented, right? And I think very early on, she made a decision to come from here and go overseas in the UK. You know, she's killing it. She's tearing it up in the UK,
Yeah.
right? And then you have the same question we asked with Rihanna is the same question I kind of asked with her. Would she be as successful? Would she
No.
be as exactly right? Would she have to be popular or get opportunities that she has now if she was based here? And it's like, or I mean, granted, you have to consider the fact that UK is a bigger place and there's
Exactly.
different dynamic.
And it's also I had this conversation when I went to UK, because I went to UK and I was by Izzy for like I was by Izzy once a week for like 6 weeks. Me, Izzy, and Jabari Brown. You know what I mean? We decide we can do something. We just make some music for making it. And Izzy's amazing, brother.
Yeah.
Right? She also started out, first time I saw her is when I had Hilton Open Mic. Hilton Open Mic opened the doors for a lot of people. She was in a young band front ESC called Clark's. And then she came back and did a song. We did a song called The Vibe. It was a nice song. Would she have gotten these opportunities? No. Because the other reason is, we think you need to be great to go overseas and do something. Brother, 85% of them men over there in England, in the USA, fundamentally are okay. As a musician, they're easy. If life was an anime, there would be the men that they shoot the guns for Galactor. Right? Enough of them would, like, if you was to kill them in a video game, they would drop common loot. Like, you would never, you know what I mean? So when you left Barbados, no, Barbados is want you be this, you gotta be this, you gotta be ting, can't be bending the notes, you gotta be on, you gotta know these different styles of music, you gotta be playing, you gotta BCC, you got this grueling syllabus you gotta get through, it rough, you get through there, and you do all of that, and you get to a place, you be like, yo, these men really good. There are men who are extraordinary in these countries. Extraordinary. The Jimi Hendrixes, you know, the Bruce Springsteens, the whoever, right? The Bruce Springsteens, sorry, the whoever. Extraordinary cats. There's 1 in a million. And they're literally that. Literally that. You are 1 of 10 or 1 of 20 out of 250,000. If there's 1 in a million, you're 1 of 10 or 1 of 20 out of a quarter of that. The output from your country in terms of talent, in terms of fundamentals, in terms of what you are as a musician is extremely high, right? You do that and you go to this country, you go to this place, UK. I went to the UK and it was like, wow, so many people here are okay. And just get work. If you busking in UK, you don't get tax. If you busking, your money is contributions.
What's busking?
Busking is when you go play in the street and sing and just put down a hat. People give you money.
Cool.
So men like Ed Sheeran with a busk. They got a lot of cats busking, but busking cats get different. No, men has got like little feather banners now with the name on it.
Yeah.
Men got a barcode now, so you just scan it.
Speakers.
Men got a thing that you could tap you phone upon and just get them £3. You know what I mean? And men just can't set all that. They don't get taxed. And then the men just turn around and do shows, or people will sing them on to bands and they will perform on weekends or they do whatever. But England has like London alone must have got like 1,300 venues that you could play at any given time. You know what I mean? And you get at least, let me call it a foolish number, you might get like £250 per gig or £150 per gig, which in Barbados is like $450, right? BIM, you have about 80 venues. Struggling, right? Hotels is really big money. People's try to play in hotels. And they got 2 really big bands that do a lot of traveling, which is Nicholas Branca band, Tour Tapping band. Right? So everybody trying to play for Branca or Tour. So it's a very small, and them men don't take everybody. You gotta be on your stuff. You know what I mean? Damien Neblet, just play for Marshall. Still, you know, Darian Bailey used to play for Marshall as well. He used to be Alison Hines' keyboardist, then he went to Marshall. So he would have worked on a lot of work with Marshall, do a lot of things with Marshall. So he's one of them up there musicians. He just played for Branca too. You know what I mean? Because that's how he would have get them. You know, everybody got somebody to give you foot in door. But your pool is so small. It's only like, let me say it's 80 or whatever. That's it. So they got Hornman, who is the Hornman? And them is be the Hornman till Thy Kingdom Come. Real thing, you ever used to watch TV as a little man and watch like the pickety crop and see that the festival band don't change? And then you get older, see them men got grey hairs now, men got glasses now, before that they look sharp. Once upon a time, the men was in bell bottoms and shirts cut down the hair, now they got buttons shirt here because everybody got belly now. It's like, you know what I mean? And them is bring up youths and them way, them is come up. And then they got some that just be extraordinary. Men like Kweku Jelani, Joseph Callender, who is now in Canada. You got artists like them coming up, right? And then you got new singers, you got new people. You constantly got these new people being injected into the fray, but you seeing these same faces. Yeah.
And there are people who are fighting to make a way. Like, props to Mahalia and to Mahil for their part.
Mahil did amazingly with the culture, brother.
Yes, like the Mahalia's Corner was a massive platform.
Like they did a lot to facilitate new art and new artists. And I really like what them is do. That's sometimes that my head hit with them in terms of things that they do or how to do them. But you can't agree with everybody.
No.
But I love them there because without them, there would not be a mic check.
Yeah.
Right? Without people like Mahalia, Ruby Tech, and Hal Linton, and my partner doing Scanterbury, there would not be a Sun Rokk for sure. You know what I mean? I remember freestyling at BCC, at sports. People start listening to his set, brother. People didn't listen to DJ no more. People that want to hear lyrics, Israel, Mahalia, me, rap and do tunes and sing things and yeah. Izzy got a voice, brother. You making sport. You know, Israel's bashment, dog. I trying to get you on a surf rap mixtape, bye. But
Probably won't happen, but
That's two different quarters.
I just,
not.
so my thing is when we talk about it, the country has more than enough talent. So statements like that there's annoy me because it showed me that you just willfully disregard these people and disregard the contributions and disregard the work and disregard the artistry for the few that you may have seen that ain't good enough to you. But there are so many people working.
Yeah.
So much people doing it every day. They have 4 years that Mikey didn't win nothing. Then again, there happening nothing. So
Yeah.
and Mikey changed his music outlook, invested in himself as an artist, invested in his artistry. And Reunion, sorry Rice, sorry for you. Reunion is the best soca effect in Barbados
And
for the season.
is it intentional that Mikey's holding in Kensington Mall car park as opposed to
That was
a bigger
always
venue?
there. It was always there.
I know it was always there.
I will hold it in there till it burst 3 scenes.
Okay, cool.
Because Mikey, you gonna get it sure. Mikey's be playing stage, and then the lights is go, and the dancers is calling and walk up in neon things, and then Mikey's appear up on a roof somewhere. Oh man, it's like you there with a soca ninja, brother. It's just poof, puff of smoke, Mikey they talk, and all the people in the job, just job. Yeah, you just say,
I remember when he first did it in 2022.
Yeah.
Right?
I had
remember
I had
that.
I had a stomach surgery. The May.
Mm-hmm.
And my partner said, yo, we going Mikey reunion fest. I said, dog, you know, come in hospital 2 months reunion fest. Man, I said, brother, we done buy tickets, but we go. And I bought this, so like fresh, fresh scar. And
Probably God's pads.
yeah, brother, I walking up, like I met myself, brother, called Mikey come out and bring up man like Timmy singing, bartender Timmy is here. No, man, you can't not walk up with any things, man. The Van Jones. It was just such it was a good carry back because there was no trainees on show. There was none. I thought I would have seen Bungie or saying because Mikey and Bungie is like brothers. No trainee. There was not a trainee there. It was Mikey, man, bring back on like Kemal, Timmy, Barry Chan, like just men that had songs, and he was like, I ain't hear these in forever, but they are bangers, brother. And the crowd moving, and it's just vibes. In the fight scene, crowd, in the boy doing that, the boy there, everybody can't hear to take off the shirt, walk up by and get on the sword.
And that's sufficient evidence to say, like,
And the stage was 40 feet.
Yeah, that's what I was about to go. Is like there's sufficient evidence to say if you wanted to feature more artists on a concert like Rise, there is a market for that. There are people that be like, this is what we want to see. Like,
I wish we had more. I mean, big ups to the NCF for doing the crop over Sweet Lanes too. Because that's place for them is ask new artists to come out and they was literally be active with it and be like, look, you got new music, come and put you on the Sweet Lane, let people see you or let people hear you. It's not the cavalcades, but it started from the idea.
It's a platform.
Yeah, it's a platform that you can do. There's a place where you can start entry as a grassroots artist and go forward. My problem with how Barbados is right now is too many people jump onto the social media hype of like Kez and them, man. Because ever since Kez went to Times Square, had his stuff up and was at Madison, them big places, Barclays Center, and man, played Madison Square
I
Garden.
knew about Cass before that.
Yeah. I know Kez when Kez was a rock band next to Orange Sky in Trinidad, brother.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I remember.
Yeah, that show was
that.
big.
Because when they came out, I was like, is this the same?
Yeah.
I was questioning myself, is this
And
the same?
he's still rocky, He's still like, if you look at all the tunes that you like for Cass, it's still alternative tunes. It's just they got soca licks and it's good on soca vibe.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like Savannah Grass.
Yeah, it was about to say.
Right?
When you listen to Savannah Grass, like there's
yeah, a what list? What list is a what list? Right now I just brother, all them is alternative licks that you did upon. But I like it because I feel like if you go a culture, it should gain everything you do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They should have had a spooge hip hop mixtape in Barbados ever since. Don't worry, you got one covered. But you gotta look at what you have and you gotta look at where you are and you gotta get more credence, man. It can't just be me bringing in Trinities all the time. I love Trini music. I love Grenadian music, but I don't like it more at my carnival than my music.
But so that leads to another aspect, another side, because I know we talked about the promoters and the etc., the institutions, but there's also the people.
There's
right?
also the people.
There's also the people. So in the same
Would
comments,
you say people are culpable?
of course, in the same comments, we have
That man get
Bajans who-
ostracized tomorrow.
I'm fine with ostracized. You ask Raheem, I'm fine with being ostracized. I
I'm
make
not-
controversial comments.
You employ me, so just be
This is a safe space, right? But no, I mean, like the people have a part to play, because in the same comments, people are talking about, oh, boycott Rise, this and that and the third. And some of the same people who are probably saying boycott Rise will probably have their ticket and will probably
Brother,
still
I let you
go
know that
quietly.
Bajan boycotts are lip service at most, brother.
Bajan boycotts are
If it was
virtue signaling.
Jamaica and Jamaica say, yo, fire to blood, like it gone, you know.
Done.
No, any boy catch you at Rise, you walk to Rise door in Jamaica, or might be a problem.
Yeah.
Because people gonna stand outside Rise to make sure nobody don't get it.
A Bajan boycott is like, yeah, we boycotting on the way there.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's like-
Edie Car.
I ain't going Rise, but they got cats. I like Bajan music. They got Patrice. I like Patrice. And
I have
And they
bad
got
talk
care.
the thing on social media enough.
I
think,
do
you
enough
know?
that I can know. I have absorbed myself with my social media
I
actions.
put in my blue square.
I just going, I just going to make sure that other ain't going.
But you know, there's a Bajan artist there, so I have to go and.
But you can't left Tiana up there with
Support
herself,
them.
man. I go out there and see what Allison doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that this event, like,
Yeah, to make sure that culturally,
yeah,
we
Yeah.
stand up as a united front. I go and make sure that one of them ain't.
Yeah. Everybody going to make sure.
Yeah, I
can
can carry my phone so that I could go and I can put it on live and one can watch that I was there for this
to
travesty,
make sure that y'all weren't.
this tragedy of an
But you know,
event.
but there is that as well. So as much as we talk about the promoters, as much as people have the ire for Orlando Newton's comment, which they quite rightly should, we as a people are also responsible for supporting our own or not, for making sure that home
Agreed.
drum does beat first. Because what we do is like we look for the stamp of approval from overseas first before we stand up and own it.
So this is my question to you now. This is my question to Barbados too. What do you think needs to be done to reverse this thought process? Do you think it should be something hard? If not, because I mean, not that you could put legislation to tell somebody who to hire,
Correct.
but I do think we should enforce a behavior that is nationalist first.
So in Canada, they have the Canadian content laws, which I think a certain percentage of your production
Let me say no.
has to be Canadian.
Wait, let me rephrase that. Not you can't do legislature. I think legislature without a mindset is
It has to be both
Yeah,
sides.
it gotta be
but
too happening
there
at
has
the
to be
same
a
time.
willingness, and then the legislation
Big up to Matthew
facilitates
Clark.
the willingness, right?
Yeah.
The legislation facilitates you disgusting.
Wow.
The legislation facilitates the willingness, right?
My
So
bad, we catch it straight.
we have wildly, we have a willingness, create the legislative environment that
Yes.
opens the door
Yeah.
for that willingness to be able
Yeah.
to take action, right?
and it
I think
doesn't
that's what the
seem and it
Canadian
doesn't have
content
to
laws
seem
are.
forced down your throat.
Right.
Just-
So in Canada, you have to have a certain amount of your production. I think it's 60% of it has to be Canadian. So Canadian actors, Canadian staff. If it's production,
Jamaica has a similar
Canadian,
law about
Canadian.
radio.
Yeah. So the music has to be the movies, the TV shows have to have a certain amount of Canadian input.
But I agree. The other thing that should be there is, and this way, like, I can't tell you Jamaica does bring all quality, right? I can't tell you so. I could tell you there was latch on to a lot of quality music as a people. But there is something in the Barbadian culture that I wish was there. And that is the love of quality music, quality art, quality dancing, quality, storytelling. I need that to happen. I need that Japanese. I love the Japanese for that. Because in Japan, if something is a standard, and that's the standard from 1972, they will do innovation. They will do all that, but it has to
meet that standard.
Has to meet or surpass.
So
that
not
standard.
the Hilux.
Not the Hilux. So no.
Okay. I just making sure.
Ever. But if we say the Hilux song, we gotta say A, we gotta say B. Artists would tell you as an artist, I got the right to express myself, and the platform is there. You know what I mean? Peter Ram has done a myriad of songs, right? He's done everything from what we would call top quality soca hits to sporty expression, and a lot of times it's a commentary. I feel like Pat and Crank is a social commentary. Me personally. Hear me out.
I am
Hear me
anxiously
out.
waiting for you to land this plane, sir.
Hear me out.
Because the
All
runway,
the
I don't
source-
think you have enough runway.
According to my man Nicholas Branca, large off Branca, there's no such thing in the social commentary because the art itself is socially commentative in its nature. If he also believes that music should be against something. He never said it has to be against all the negatives. So sometimes music could go along with something just to show you how far you're slipping down this slope that you gain.
Okay.
I think Pattern Crank in that way is a social commentary. Because when you look at what was going on, it's like they got a part that is called the scab era of Bajan music. That's one of the tunes in scab era.
Absolutely.
It would be the advent of men like
It just evolved.
Nah, there was a point where scabby coat was the
Evolved
thing.
into
If you
yeah.
wanted to hit song, talk about the scabs or deal with them, you good.
Yeah.
Now they got a little more. Now it's sex and scabs, but you know, it's a move. A move is a move. Win is win, right? So, but when you look at that, we look at the fact that artists has the right to express themselves. I can also say Peter Ram has not only done that. He's done socially commentative songs. He's done love songs. He's done so much other work that I can't just say he's just Pattern Crank man. But Pattern Crank is some of his most famous stuff.
Yeah.
And if you go back to the old dub days, Ram would tell you himself, he was disrespectful and he was raw. But that's who he was. If you doubt that, look for the clash between Ram,
He was
Lil Rick, and that man in 3564 bar. I think that's it, man. Me and he had that conversation the other day because he's a fan of Ram. Because lyrically, he's a problem. A lot of people don't want it. Like, Ram is a man that would say, don't hear right now, do a chant about you and make you feel the worst about the clothes you go on and how you is and who you is as a person. Ram will make you curse the afterbirth that was before you. Like, Ram is a serious man. So, I like you for that.
I ain't gonna rewatch this video just out of side.
Yeah, right there. You know what I mean? Because I got a cleric for you to guilt. So it's becoming the afterbirth because you use guilt there after, but that does be there.
Yeah.
So it's really the afterbirth be before you because it's not your afterbirth, it's your mother one.
Yeah.
But life, you know? Anyhow, so
and life. Would you look at
like,
that?
yeah. So what I mean to say is the artists need to have a place where they feel like they can express themselves. And it needs to be like how Trinidad is now. Trinidad does soca every day. But soca season is when them is met music for them. Bungie has a deal with a European music company to do songs like Differentology and Big Truck on the Road. So that's why you hear them songs. You know what I mean? Like straight off the jumbo jet. Songs with very big, dark sounds. Because there's a market for that. There's carnival every day of the year somewhere in the world, brother. Or a soca event. So when Trinidad saw that, I was like, oh yeah, that's what happening? We playing out music for Europe. We can put music for whoever. When September come, October come, music
Carnival's
for
being
Trinidad.
launched. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Men doing pan arrangements, men whatever. It's a very big focus on Trinidad, right? That doesn't happen in there.
So let me ask you, have you seen a positive shift in Barbados?
Yes.
What positive tones have you seen? And could you go through and describe some of those
I think
things?
we become more nationalist now in how we embrace the music. Bashment Soca is a very telling medium to show you how Bajans have embraced themselves from a ground level. The Bashment Soca movement started on ZR's and thing, you know. It deal with the people that it grown. You know, we talk about them men, but Matrix Man, Crime Son, Stiffy, Snapper, Big Tor, Asman. Listen, Asman is so. I hope Barbados finds a way in the annals of history to acknowledge Asman for the shift in the acceptance of the Bajan vernacular on rhythms.
They were
once again.
very instrumental.
You hear what I tell you? Them is the men that I tell you could have hard stories about. Them men went to Slam when Slam was the new station busing. And they did a rhythm called the Rampan rhythm. I will never forget this. One of the biggest injustices I hear to artists ever. Crane Sun was on Rampan. Snapper was on Rampan. Can't remember who else was on Rampan. Enough Man was on Rampan. It's a rhythm made by Asman, brother. Devon Clinton, I think, is one of the men instrumental in making that rhythm. Asman had a song called Woody Rampan on the same rhythm. Man never played. Everybody else on slam play. Songs get big. Because Crime Sun sound, call me the burglar, going through your window. That was Pandora rhythm. All them songs play. So I went to the station, was like, why be song ain't playing? It's rhythm. The man that was running things at the time, I think they're administrator for music or whoever. I think Groove Master is his name. Some dude that is not from here either. I ain't playing the song because it's not a hit.
But how do you make it a hit?
How you know it's not a hit? People ain't hear it.
Yeah.
You understand? Asman did that. And after that, we started to more engage now. All the things that Crime Sun and them men did doing, Asman did first. Brother. Don't ask me, because I did not see.
Wait, yeah.
You understand?
Oh, all right. Yeah,
Asman has songs like
Yeah.
Give It Up with Damien Marvey. Girl, I can't get you off my mind, no matter how I try. Great storytelling, brother, about domestic abuse in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Crime Sun come out, but Don't Ask Me, I did not see, on a path that them men start to carve and clear. Everybody realize, you know what, this sound different. This got a nice groove. This what these men doing.
Everybody used to say
I
that
can do
phrase
that.
a lot during school. Like, I remember it.
Yeah, don't ask me, because I did not see.
Like,
If
that was
for who know, I never not me.
that is
Officer,
that-
you gotta
that-
beat me.
Yeah, not exact same.
My lit see Cobbler, you gotta kill me.
Yeah.
That's beer Bajan. My lit see Cobbler, nobody saying that before them men, brother.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Them men had a thing called Triumph. You gonna look for Asman Triumph, brother. Lyrics. When Jay-Z bring out Otis with Kanye, them men bring out Otis too. Lyrics, brother. Hard. And the men that know is like, Asman is your favorite Bajan artist, But Bajans, they know about them in mass. There was a very cliquey thing. Hip hoppers know about Asman. I wouldn't know because me and them men is close friends. They were the first people we featured when we have Mike check the show. Them come and do the feature for we.
I would have known because y'all knew.
Right. And then we would invite people to shows and Asman was just killing things. If you do it, look for album called the second one, if you could find it, because it may have break up. I know what happened. But hard group. Bajans, if they go to the shows, the friends will bring them to open mic, or the friends will bring them to this, and that's how you get them. So a lot of people, like I said I had a big up to my hill. To my hill would have brought their listenership from when they used to do jambies every Saturday to town when they did Mahalia's Corner upstairs by Wine Cafe.
Mm-hmm.
So those people would come to town, and the people that are already in town would go because they want to see what's going on. And you have two demographics here now mixing and enjoying the same music and realizing there's so much in Barbados for talent. And every time I come off the stage, you man, you know what's here? Well, you go left here. You're too hard to be here. It's too hard to make money home. Big man.
And that doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
Doesn't make sense.
Doesn't.
It just doesn't make any sense.
It's like
Why-
saying you gotta get where you live, you gotta get from where you live and catch a plane to go to America to work at McDonald's.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To come back here and then be like, ah, boy, get home. It's madness.
And we see it in everything. We see it,
Yeah, but
especially in the creative
that's the slave
fields.
codes in your country, brother.
especially in the creative fields and in athletics as well. We have people who would have had opportunity. Like in athletics, for example, I will use cricket.
I could give you one better.
Go ahead.
When I was 17 years old, I was the third best in the world in martial arts
Mm-hmm.
as a fighter, right? Third best
In the world.
in the world. And only because I was not American. The Americans literally said, who is this man? We've never heard of him before. How can he beat our champions? I fought people that went on to become MMA stars. Men like Raymond Daniels. Third in the world. No one helped me get there.
Mm.
My parents had to ask. My father's a plumber. He would have done work for like the Edges and the Mannings, and them is the people that we had to go on kind of ask for sponsorship to get me to the World Championships that I was invited to because of my wins in the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
I beat everything from Barbados straight at that line. You know, they got the line you look at straight to Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
I beat everything from BIM to there. I was king of the ring in St. Lucia. St. Lucia newspapers tell the men that I cheat simply because I was just mauling this man. Trinidad, I was Trinidad Grand Slam champion that year twice. I was Barbados champion for 12 years. I have fought men who just come and say, awesome. Right now, the only person, and I love this person to my heart, Mikey Mercer and me draw in an unofficial match at BCC. Right? And he get all my respect. Great martial artist. Mikey is also a Caribbean champ. Pan-American champ, I think, at one point. You would never know. Because when you see in the paper, you know what I mean? He's got the whole sports column. And this culture. He's got the whole sports column. He's got cricket there, football, horse racing, karate man return world championship. You know what I mean? And we just walk out here normal. I know people who are world champions in martial arts in Barbados who walk around, don't get sponsorship, don't get nothing, ended up being a nurse assistant, ended up being something. Meanwhile, these men in America that I fought, Lincoln Park did a video called One Step Closer.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the men that was in One Step Closer doing the tricks and the moves and thing are men that I competed against at that same tournament. That video came out after that tournament. And that's how we got into hybrid theory, because when I looked and saw them, man, I saw John Valera, I saw Jimmy Pham, I was like, yo, these men I just compete against. This is Steve Torada. I know compete against these men. And these men in the music video. Them men was in the last fight scene for Crank 2. Them men had fight choreography groups and places to go. I get asked by a team. They had a team called Team Paul Mitchell at the time. It was the best martial arts team in America. And the man was like, where do you live? I was like, I live in Barbados. He's like, where's that? I show you playing map. The man said, you live too far. It's too much paperwork to get you here to be a part of Team Paul Mitchell. Yeah. I said, what we got to do on Team Paul Mitchell? The man said, literally, train, teach people, do movies. That's it. When competitions come, he's good at competition. He's pay you to go to competition. He's good. You win or you don't win. He's get paid still. And then if you get older, you turn around coach the little men that kind of for Team Paul Mitchell. There is nothing like that, Barbados, brother. And it's because, like you said, it's too much small people, but you got such a high quality of martial artists. I know a man named Javit could take a door jam off of the wall right there with fingers. Amazing men. But you live in a country where being amazing is the lowest bar of being all right. Because we are so accustomed to a high quality of artists, of music, profession. And then we use these people like Nicholas Branco, we use Arturo Tappan. And if you ain't that man, you ain't doing nothing. Or you like Nicholas Branco? No, he's a bassist, so he's a singer. Hey, you're Nicholas Branco in the body, man. And they got people that believe that you in the body until somebody that is not from here does endorse you.
Yeah.
Nicholas Branco is Nicholas Branco because he's Nicholas Branco. He's also Nicholas Branco because he got Grammy nominations. You know what I mean? He's also Nicholas Branco because he worked with Eddie Grant. Eddie Grant is also Eddie Grant because Eddie Grant would have come from doing Electric Avenue and he would have done the Rolling Stones album that them men come here and stay here for like 2 months to do. You know, it's all of that. All of that, brother. You know, a man that live in St. Philip or wherever, he's just chill out and knew Mick Jagger personally. Just talk to them men. Turn around and sue Donald Trump for using his song in a campaign and not asking for no permission. You got that in Barbados as a normal person walking about. So it is for you that no boy don't know. You got to be amazing for them to think you all right. And then you got to keep being amazing, or keep being more amazing just to be cool. Yeah. And then by the time you are amazing, you dead. Right? And that's how it is. When we talk about the love for Barbadian culture, the love for Barbadian quality, the love for Barbadian people, the love for Barbadian art, you got to go back to the epicenter. And the epicenter of the issue is the country was raised to make slaves who could govern slaves. Jamaica is rooted in revolutionaries. Right? Rooted in slaves who rebelled and went forward. And a lot of them history, if you look in there, you search good enough, you can ask people like, well, if he was better know, like Ilombe Montley would tell you that a lot of Bajans went over and start revolutions in their countries they were sent to govern the slaves in. You know what I mean? A lot of people must even escape with the Maroons. Law is a law of history. Bajan is a term for Bajan. And it's basically because there was a Bajan man called Bajan, and he used to stick fight. He was a bad fighter. He was a monster of a person. And he went down there and got enough trouble. And then all of a sudden, he started to use a Bajan. But he was really a Bajan. You know what I mean? Jackie Opal.
Heard it here first.
Jackie Opal left him at Jamaica and helped Bob Marley to be an artist, to teach them men how to sing at gigs and how to really push and things. Bob Marley and Peter Tosh.
Jackie Opal has an amphitheater at the...
That no boy don't use.
Yeah, Philip Mildred.
You ever see anything there? I see, only thing you see in that amphitheater is parrots and pigeons.
Parrots, true, yeah.
You know what I mean? I just know that day because right across from that temple here.
Maybe there's an album song.
Powers and Pigeons. We should do that.
Thinking in my head, it's-
I had a song there, Wharf Surfing, but we going too far. So it's just like oh, Mike Chet was great. But you got all of this, and we don't look at that. There's no way that nobody can find. It should have been that people could not find Jackie Opal's grave for years before the man erect that monument. Nobody in take care of it. There had no flowers there in the headstone. Nothing. Then the government pushed for that monument and thing after, well, Al Jilts would do a paper on it, and another woman called Elizabeth something who spurned the law on my
If
research.
we have in Barbados, it's not in the music industry, but if you think about it, we have the birthplace and home of the father of independence falling apart and overrun with bush in St. Lucie.
Yeah.
You have to fight through bush to see the house, which is derelict, falling down, cracking.
Yeah.
That's the birthplace.
But George Washington House.
And it has a plaque on it.
But George Washington
you.
House. George Washington House is what? Pristine in Barbados, brother.
And I'm not, and
can still walk down through the
I don't
caverns.
think you're saying, and I wouldn't advocate for not having George Washington House. But the same
I do.
energy,
You do
for
that.
me, the same energy that you put in that
You should have put into your people first.
and more.
Agreed. So here's
I don't believe it. For me, I don't believe it shouldn't have done it because of like what is there in terms of the
Agreed.
tunnels and whatnot.
So no, when we talk about that, we gotta go back to the same thing. It's go back to the same mentality that once it's us, it's here. Once it's them, and by them I ain't talking race. I'm talking like anything,
Anybody else.
anything that is extra Barbados, right?
Yes.
Outside. Once it's them, it's great. And a lot of times, even in music, we will got rappers there that get sit down. You should see men at writing sessions, brother, breaking the head. Oh, this ain't gonna be, this is gonna be different.
Could it be that aura?
And he was getting states. You know who's here from states? She was a fairy with a fatty and a batty. Yap, gop.
So is it?
Your sister, brother. I'm out here trying hard to write these lines. Sorry.
Could it be that our dedication to quality is also what's killing us? Because it's
Yes.
not allowing
Not
those
just art,
people
not-
who have to come up through and fail. We have a culture in Barbados that doesn't like failure. Like you fail and go crawl in a hole and die.
Yeah. Because Barbados failure is so this so I like this. I had this conversation in Jamaica with Jesse Roy. Maybe we was talking about the singing thing.
This
And he
man
said,
knows people.
I said, and Jesse's a big fan of the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister's a big fan of Jesse.
Mhm.
Jesse said, he said you could sing it was like, he was like, before he could have sang, he was just walking about singing Damian Marley songs or whatever. He said he did so much falling down to get there, but he was still singing, he was still performing, he was still Jesse Roy. He do a lot of falling down getting there. In Barbados, a lot of people that start singing here, yo, it's so bad, yeah. That man is never singing again.
Yes.
You know what I mean? The environment is not one of, like you said, it's not one of fall down and go forward. In school, you fail subjects, or you in a plan yourself, you hard ears, whatever. I had one point, look at my parents, like, you was ever in Terraform? Terraform is one of the roughest things ever, brother. Terraform is the ZR of learning.
Terraform got the most subjects.
Terrible.
Yeah, you want to know it says the ZR
15
learning.
subjects,
ZR is
yeah.
going like, well, like 15 seats.
Yeah.
I'm going 75
30
people for the
Yeah,
evening.
no, Terraform is like
Yeah,
Terraform had a
it's
lot-
crammed, it's rammed.
You got 15 subjects, brother, and 5 days. And them days is 4 hour intervals, brother, between lunch and then you get a break. And then man check in 15 subjects in you king, man.
That's like area.
That is roughness, dog. And they taught 15 subjects every day, you know? So every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 15 subjects. Next week, same thing. Right? And you're supposed to do that, come back, have an examination that is memory-based, not skill-based, not critic-based, not task. Memory, brother. Man told you in week 2, dogs bark in the key of E. You're supposed to remember that in week 16. Brother, people is forget the breakfast today. You know what I mean? And there's a place where if you can't, you have failed. If you're a fish and you can't climb this tree with the rest of the monkeys, you have failed. So the people that's work with a hand, failures. The technical people, there's not much space in the school for technical subjects. We know trying to be best with woodwork and TD. But no, if you want to do woodwork, you gotta learn TD. I don't know much carpenters that could draw plans, brother. You want to know why? Because they went for a job and learn carpentry. You go to Cuba got a different system. You don't do school, all right, but you're a good boxer, then you will box. We will teach you basic math, basic communication, but you will box, brother. You will run, you will do road work, you will come, you will do 2 or 3 hours of school, you're going back to boxing. And that's why Cuba got so much gold medals in boxing, wrestling, because they have institutions geared towards that, because they believed in them people enough. The first thing Castro did when he took over from Batista was invest in film and art. You want to know why? If your people don't have stories to tell themselves, they may know where to come from. And if they may know where to come from, they may know where to go.
Kind of like Japanese culture that you mentioned earlier.
Japanese culture. After them men get bombed, what the men do? Was watching. You understand that? Some men don't bomb you. And then these men they send you Mickey Mouse to watch. And then men say, no, I want to watch the Mickey Mouse. I want to see Japanese characters.
And I want to preserve our culture.
And we want to preserve our culture. Because our children need to know what happened. Same in China. Things in China, them men who does carve, still carving. You know what I mean? There's still a place for people doing. And then you got people, you can do whatever, we can be great at it. Whatever it is we doing, we can be great at it. You know what we can do? We can sell services. China does deal with a lot of people's metal refining. A lot of people can't do metal refining without China. They get that deal to do your metal refining exclusively. So all your H-beams, you whatever, come in from China. That money getting back into China. China said, no, I bought him the world under the foot of the event for years. And just, all right, hey, you want sand build? Hey, you know I could build that phone cheap for you though. Hey, you know I could build them shoes. Hey. Just slowly just sucking in the money.
Yeah.
Sucking in the money. Oh, China's just so quiet. And you hear them from China for years. Till middle 2000s. China was like, yeah.
We're here.
Smartphones and things. When they want chips, we got them. And then China started telling people things. Because start using, hey, you want to borrow some money? Hey, you want to borrow some money? Hey, you was a small country trying to develop. You know it's hard, man. They didn't want to give the money. IMF and think, you want to borrow some money, brother? IMF saying, well, you don't got the money, we destabilizing your money. China saying, you don't got the money, you just taking a highway. I put down that airport belong to you.
Small island off the coast.
You got to pay me now for thing. You don't got, so no, you can't pay thing, but the money you got can pay thing. So here we go. And then go hold out for whenever to then get their money. You know what I'm saying? So it's, men is called a Chinese money trap, but you can't blame them, man. You can't be out here giving away free money. But at the same time, you need to build your people. And there's not enough of that in Barbados. And that's why you use places like China, Japan, because them men did the most to preserve their culture so that their people know where they come from. You got Chinese people that could chart the family back to 2 or 3 dynasties, brother. I know people that can't tell you who their great-grandfather is.
Some people can't tell you who their father is.
So, boy, even less so in Jamaica. They could tell you who the set of father is, but Jamaica has a 62% of jackets. That wild. So 62% really calling a stranger daddy. Daddy! Kinda. So, I mean, when you look at that, you gotta look at what you people doing it. And you gotta tell them stories, and telling them stories, I think a lot of people think that culture is just what happened back then. Culture is what happening now. Culture is how we getting through the times, what we do. So you can't look at me and tell me, oh, they may got enough artists because you got a 40-foot stage. But you got enough Bajans that you could sit down and tax for the money and say that you want the country to your thing.
If you look in the comments of that video alone, the Bajan artists are there.
Yeah, because I see.
The Bajan artists are there.
Some men get wild, boy.
From Biggie Irie to Blood, Sluggy Dan.
Yeah, because you want to know why? I think more so.
Mikey, everybody was.
I think more so. The bashment men can get on the worst because them literally build it from the ground out of Barbados, just out of people. People liking Brutal Crank Star. People liking them men. People.
And as much as I don't support or like bashment, so
I
see what they do and how they create music that tells the stories of the people who will listen to it. They create music that connects.
I would say that I am not a big fan of how they use the platform. That's my annoying thing.
What they produce with it.
Yeah. Like there are so much things happening that nobody ain't talking about. And there are things that, listen, there will be times in your society that only the artists can talk about these things. Right? Because the bureaucrats caught up in red tape. There's so much they can't say, so much they can't do. They got NDAs. You know what I mean?
Looking for votes.
And then from the inside. So a lot of times there's a disconnect between how they see what's happening and how what is happening is affecting the people outside.
Crime that we were
So we talking about crime home. Well, you know, these things happening in the third. I don't think it's easy to run a country. I would never think it is. But I do think we have put too much of the responsibility on people who are supposed to be working for us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you will get your fat and you will pay for a snack box. Right? You know that you put your money there, snack box should come with the things inside of it. It should never be a case that I put my money there, snack boxes come empty, and I go wait for the next quarter. And the boy don't tell me why I'm getting the chicken. I ask why I'm getting the chicken, the boy answering me, they just take my money, give me an empty box to tell me go along. That's what happening in Barbados now. See, average Bajan, because of the disrespect of Bajanisms, right? There's so much things that you disrespect that spawn. It has spawned, that devaluation, of Bajan-ness and Bajan culture and Bajan people by Bajans. And it spawned things where there's people who think that they are exempt from accountability. There are people who think that they can say what they want, how they want, or there are people who think that certain places are not for you. So either in price or just in atmosphere, or people just feel like, you know, I had a show that ended, and it ended because they told us it was about numbers. It could never have been about numbers when they placed the RAM all the time. We packed the place of people. They had bad service. But they're saying they're not making any money. But we're like, but we packed the place of people.
I was there a couple
I
of
don't
times.
sell drinks, brother. Yeah. You know what I mean? But because they don't value us, they would not have, maybe our show would not be able to be on that day. They know the show is every Thursday. They know they have booked an event from months before. They will wait until the Thursday of the show to call and say, hey, we have an event in the place. You can't have the show tonight. Meanwhile, I have 200, 300 people hitting up my phone like, why they may go on the show tonight? What happened with Thursday? We ain't think. But what happened is they thought the show would have been good, and it did great. It came up at a general meeting internationally that this branch of this franchise has done very well due to this show. Big ups this person who initiated that and got the people there. Not big up Sun Rokk that host the thing, not big up Malcolm X that was there. Big up this person. And we love that person. Big ups to you. But then, show get too local. You know artists, we do a show, we done the show, we ain't going home. We gotta lame a little bit. We gotta talk to, you had a girl's good song. I remember lyrics and people just saying no talking and harmonizing in the front there, but the lobbying thing. You right? But nobody didn't respect that. Too local. When we done the show, we get when the money get we place. That's the behavior that people got towards Bajan. Same thing that Rise doing. We want with the money. You can't never want an artist. You can't never want a culture. You want to know why? Your culture does not pay the bills. You don't pay me, brother? You know what's paying me? Your indulgence. Your indulgence pays me. Your love for Cass. Your love for Bungie. Your love for Patrice. That is paying me. Because we're not going to pay to see them. And them artists ain't coming here and charging 2 cents. You know, brother? You got to put money there. Then you got to put a band together if the men ain't bringing the band. So if you want to take a cheat route, my cheat route is I want Israel to play. I want Kiamal to play. I want this boy to play. But all these men got bands. I don't want your whole band. I just want you. Them men has come. I wanted to bring Bungie here years ago because I didn't want to do a Sun Rokk versus Bungie freestyle battle and like Cypher. Bungie's price by himself before he had all the hits he got now was like 8,000 US. And I still had to give him a per diem. I still had to arrange transportation. I still had to do all that. Plus give him 8,000 US. That I had to pay the first down payment of 50% within 2 weeks of booking him. And then the rest on his arrival in the country. Not on his doing of the event. On his arrival in the country. Marshall has the same thing. You know what I mean? These men would pay these people that money. And then when the Bajan artists come, I give you a 1,600. I give you a whatever. I agree. At a person that got as much a catalog as Bungie, that's fine.
But not only that, 2 smaller venues that claim to, well, put it this way, facilitate Bajan artists are telling people that, you know, like the door versus the bar and what you
There
get
are people
out of
that
it
want
and-
money at the bar, they want money at the door, and they want you to pay for booking the players. There are people who do horrible deals because they know that having Bajan artists is inconsistent because Bajan people ain't necessarily come to see you just because it's you. I dare you to have a show at $25 when Vibes Cartel here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Vibes can't hear and do much, brother. Could have hardly stand it good.
Yeah.
Yes, like.
That place,
But that place the ram, king man. People fall off, any man fall over chairs and things. But what I'm trying to say is, but we like that because that's who we just play.
Mm-hmm.
We will play a Vibes forever. We will play a Sizzler forever. We will play whoever from Jamaica forever. But then you had men here, like Chihuahua show you a year. And if you remember the Lookout rhythm, Brook out come out, Brook out. And we had look out. And we had Chihuahua with, I can't stand how certain man flex nowadays with them grudgeful mind and them think nasty ways. Wake up in the morning and then now send a praise. You must change your ways. We had a man called Easy B. Hand me sickle, let me cut them down quick.
Oh, wow.
Hand me rod, let me get them tunic. Too much mix up in the reggae music, the high priest get vexed about it. They just, brother, and Chihuahua play them. But singer play them, you know. Chihuahua play them, right? Chihuahua for that rhythm. Lil Rick is Chihuahua Hyper Dog, the board face, whatever, right? The ugly dog, what you want to call it. But he was Hyper Dog and he pushed Andy. He was always pushing Bajan music. And then you had men like John Doe, rest in peace to John Doe, would play Bajan hip hop. The reason the law of Bajan hip hop get played was because of John Doe. And he would play them, he would play Pounders, he would play when Pounders was beefing with De Niro, he would play a Pounders track, he would play De Niro track to respond, he played the Pounders track. Again, you get the whole beef on radio. You know what I'm saying? And that was, it feels like Barbadian music is only respected or acknowledged by a few Barbadians. Like Nicholas Branca is a big lover of Bajan music. Spooge, funk, especially. Right? Working with him was very refreshing. That we had to say in group, like, I work with Nicholas Branca, man. Because Branca is a person I talked to. You know what I mean? I wondered how working with him would have been. But Branca is a monster of a musician. But you see, in terms of knowledge about what happened in Spooge and who the men is and talking to Spooge men, he went and do all of that. You know what I mean? Everybody's talking about that man highly, brother. Brother, you know, Foul, all them men that would be there. And Branca sit down and say, yo, the Draytons too. He say all the time, he's like, Jackie was a big face in Spooge, yes. But to him, the Draytons too did more to normalize Spooge and the Spooge sound to the average Bajan than Jackie did because Jackie had the time that them men had to do them things. So them men would have had an album that they put called Raw Spooge, which was their original album. The other thing is not a lot of original Bajan music that was happening in Spooge because men was just trying to sing songs that they liked on the Spooge rhythm. Maybe it's trying to be safe or just trying to see how the rhythm would evolve with playing different drum grooves and different drum kicks. Because Spooge sounds the same, but when you get into Spooge, you find that almost every band plays Spooge different. You know what I'm saying? Boo. It's called Boo rather than I can't remember. It's Boo Hinkson. But Boo, according to Nicholas Branca, is the Spooge drummer. And when they got to meet him, he's going like Prime Minister. He's very, if he speaks, he's saying this. You ain't misconstruing that. He telling you this. And then he done talk. Prime Minister's gone.
yeah.
Well, you know, I actually don't really understand it. But yeah.
If you turn around for me, is it when he just turns around and then says what he says, it just turns back
Yeah,
around.
he's like, actually. Right? So, but when you look at that music, when you look at what happened in there, you had a treasure trove of music. You had rappers still taking samples from Minnie Riperton and looking to sample of Bob Marley and looking to sample whatever. I was about there trying to sample Shirley Stewart. I was about there trying to sample Cheryl Hackett. It was about there trying to sample Wendy Allen. You see that? I can't control my emotions. Put your arms around me. Because of how primitive that recording was, there was a lost space in that room. So that sound real haunting, you know, brother. Get a piece off of Wendy Allen, wanted to see. But you got all this music, and people don't really look for it. Like, these look for it as background music, like ambiance to play at an old person wedding or maybe Q.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
when we ain't looking at it as this was a treasure trove of music.
We're not mainstreaming.
There's a group called Fern
history.
Trail. Fern Trail do a song called Long White Room. It was a cover. Things sound like saying you should hear it on a James Bond movie, but they do it in spooch. In a long white room. Hard, bruh. Yeah, but
so
in closing, let me say that in closing, because I feel like because we ain't talk for so long is our reason why I talk for so long.
Correct.
In closing, these things can happen because the environment that you expect these people to excel in is not the best, and it's not the best because there's not the most respect by people who are not artists for the art.
So would you say that the culture is changing? Because we see the
Yeah.
comments from Orlando Newton, but it seems to me like we have a growing subset of artists who are supporting one another, who are building each other up, writing for one another, helping each other produce, supporting one another's shows, that kind of thing. So I think, would you say then that the comments made by Orlando Newton represent a phase of thinking that is going away? And
Yeah,
we see
and definitely represents a very evident disconnect between them and what is happening at the ground level in the culture itself among artists.
Yeah, I think 10 years ago, his comments would have probably been representative of a broader Barbados.
Yeah, and I think 10 years ago, it wouldn't get the outcry it gets now.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see what happens at Mikey's show.
Listen.
And what happens at Rise Barbados.
At
the reunion for Mikey, and what happens at Rise Barbados.
I was, when I had the $70 tickets, I was like, yeah, I can wait. You know, I ain't had the money at the time because I was getting ready for my trip to Jamaica. But no, I ain't care what Mikey tickets is, brother. Like, I buying them because I want to see not just the reaction of the people to the culture. I want to see what Mikey can do.
Right.
Because Mike is very competitive. But he's also some person who is very sensitive about how Bajan culture is perceived. So there will be, in his setup, in the way that he will structure the show, the way that he can go forward to it, there will be
a 41-foot stage.
It might be a 41-foot stage, but there's going to be a vindicating motive for him. He personally gonna be out to show one of just how much quality we got.
I think that's a good place for us to
Stage should be 45 feet.
I think we see that there's quality in Barbados. We see that there's so much here, artist wise, and not just artists, athletes, business people, sports people, artists. Barbados, we are more than good enough. And I think that's a story that we need to tell ourselves, because I think too often we have this narrative that if it's Bajan, it's not good.
I feel like bullying needs to make a comeback too. And I don't mean that in a horrible way. I mean,
that is another tangent.
There should be but I feel like there should be
running out of
there should be pressure. There should be pressure from the Bajan people to make these men have a Bajan headliner.
I agree.
So I feel like when you see things like Rise Barbados and then in the Bajans there, you should jump on them men page.
The community backlash needs to be
why
there.
you ain't got no Bajan headliners, brother? Why we only seeing cats and thing? Why them names so big? Sizzler mash up a plot because his name was smaller than DJ Khaled's name for when they did Holy Mountain or whatever that garbage song was.
Yeah.
And it was really just a collage of different songs, brother. That could be 5 singles. But he was like, my name is smaller than bracket the plot. You know, left the baby out because the children didn't do no boy nothing. Bracket the plot, brother, burn it. Live. The man broke his plot of having a hit song. You know what I mean? And Jamaica was behind it, brother. Jamaica say, yo, Sizzler mad boy. Jamaica's like, boy, yes, boy, bonfire, blood, bro. That's how they get on. They just gotta do them things.
Yeah. I think we have the pride, but until we have the confidence, we're not going to see that change. But I think we're seeing it now.
You're seeing it now, and that's what's made me happy. I need to see more of it.
Because I think we had that back in the days of Crossfire, Square One, etc. I think we're starting to see a resurgence now in how Bajans produce music, in the content that's being produced, in the way they're supporting each other. So
but also the visuals too, no? If you realize a lot of the Because you can't got one without the other. You
Yeah.
can't got music without dance. You
Yeah.
can't got dance without art. And a lot more of the things you're seeing happening, like the lyric videos, the motion videos,
Yeah.
the visualizers, what man
Yeah.
calling it now. A lot of them Bajan minds, Bajan created.
Yeah.
And
a lot of it before was Bajan doing it for other people.
Yeah,
now
and
us
they're
doing
paying
it
them.
for ourselves.
And they're paying them. The ultimate form of respect is paying somebody for the time.
Yeah. So guys,
Keep doing what we're
we
doing.
could talk about this topic
We could.
from now to tomorrow. This is probably going to be one of our longest podcast episodes. If you stuck with us to the end, thank you so much. We had Sun Rokk here. It's been an amazing conversation. There's so much more that could be said. So continue the conversation in the comments. Let us know how you feel about the comments from Rise Barbados. Let us know who you will be supporting coming up in the crop over season in terms of Rise Barbados or the reunion by Mikey. Lean a little bit left on that one.
I got reunion.
I
biased, brother. Rise Walk. I got reunion.
As you should be. But guys, thanks so much for joining us on this episode of Clicks Over Coffee. Remember, if you like this content, follow us on Facebook, follow us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, like, comment, and share, and be part of the conversation. And TikTok as well.
And TikTok.
So be part of the conversation. Join us. And remember, we're talking about things we click on over coffee. What are you talking about? Share your thoughts with us.
You got more coffee.
There's a little bit more coffee, Justin.
Awesome.
You'll get it. Don't worry.
Yeah.